I mean, he has a chance to be pretty special.
You've been banging the drum all season of all 11 guys doing their job and what this offense can be when it happens. I guess how much higher a rate did that happen at Saturday? And I mean, obviously, what kind of difference did it make?
A lot higher of a rate, and it made a pretty big difference. I mean, that was at the end of the day, that was the difference in this week and other weeks. Our guys just went out there and played, and they executed. And then they made one-on-one plays. I mean, it sounds boring. I wish we could say we had this special scheme this week that was so much different. No, we didn't. We went out, we blocked them. We went out, we caught the football. We went out, we got into good numbers in the run game checks, and we went out, we made plays when our number was called, scored in the red zone. Didn't turn the football over. It's not a special scheme. It's not special plays. Our players this week went out and played the brand of football that we expect them and the standard of how we want them to play.
Kenny, I think you guys were 7 out of 10 on third downs, and some of those weren't easy ones, too, that you guys picked up. And it wasn't the case earlier on. Situationally, you guys seemed to struggle there. What has kind of changed things the last couple of games? You guys are much more efficient in those third and fourth down situations.
Well, I think, anytime you can extend plays with your legs, I mean, if you study 3rd and 7+ in all of college football, over 70% of the conversions on 3rd and 7+ have nothing to do with scheme. It has to do with somebody scrambling and finding an open receiver. I mean, it doesn't sound like coach talk, because every coach gets up there like we do every week, and we spend 9 hours drawing up this perfect schemed play versus all these looks. And if you get this look, this look, this look, this, slide it this way, slide it that way, right? But at the end of the day, when you get to the long yardage situations, right, 7 out of 10 conversions you're going to have are going to be a player making a play. Whether that's a quarterback scrambling and diving, whether that's a back making a dude miss or with a ball in the flat, right? It's not going to be because you schemed somebody wide open. It's going to be because somebody made a play in those situations. And in those situations, our guys made plays. And that is what we need to do the rest of the year to continue to grow and continue to get better.
Brennan?
Can you talk about the running of Trayshawn Ward, his physicality, the patience he has, and just how much he's grown throughout the course of the year?
Yeah, I mean, that's a kid who he deserves to be where he's at just by his work ethic, how big of a competitor he is. I mean, it doesn't matter what he does. I think I said this earlier in the year. I mean, you could play that dude in like an opening of doors contest, and he would freaking open them doors like crazy. Like, he's just competitive. And I mean, it's a funny story. When he ran out of bounds at the end there, I mean, I was up there saying not so nice things. And then I said the exact same words after he made the next play, just with a completely different context. And I told him that after the game. I said, you went from like my enemy one to like favorite person in a matter of, 2 plays. But that's why, we were take him out. He ran out of bounds, right? Take him out. Bonehead play. We trust that kid. No. You know what that means? He knows he made a mistake. Give him the ball again. And great players like him, players who are special, players who have a chance like that, right? You keep giving those guys the ball. And I was super proud of the way he responded at the end of the game. I mean, that's the sign of winning football, was that last play by him.
The offensive line lined up 41 times in the running game and won the line of scrimmage, also gave Jordan a chance. Just what does it say for that much maligned group that they went out there and won constantly on Saturday and battled through it?
It was awesome. I mean, getting Mo back is obviously is huge for us, and that's a guy who's battling. I mean, those guys are banged up. I mean, those guys, they need this week probably more than any position group on our team potentially. And they were banged up and they fought. And we talk about it a lot, but not taking negatives. When you go into a game, when you watch, are we going to be able to run the football? It's not how many yards per carry does this team allow. It's not how many yards per game this team's allowing. It's how many TFLs is this team going to create in the running game? Because if you feel like you can run the football with your 5 up front and not get the TFLs, it means every time you call a run, it's going to be at least 2nd and 10. And you can survive, and you can win a lot of football games at 2nd and 10, right? So going into this week, I challenged those guys. I walked in the room and I said, if we get 14 possessions in this game, we're going to run the ball for 300 yards. I said, that's going to happen. We should run the ball for 300 yards this week with 14 possessions. Now, we ended up only getting 8 possessions, so obviously we didn't hit that number. But from a yards per play perspective on the ground, those guys did, honestly, what I felt like they could do this week. And they did a great job. And just super happy for how that group is battling through all their little injuries.
Right side, Howard.
Another group that maybe has fought through some adversity, but has come through with some big plays this week and then last week is the receivers. How, I guess, gratifying as a coach to see, Malik finally get a touchdown, Keyshawn make the play on the sideline, those types of things from those guys.
Yeah, we had no drops. We had guys fighting. I think that's the first game probably since we've been here that we just caught every ball, right, which is awesome. Not only did we do that, our detail was on point. We said when we motioned to stacks, we wanted to do it quick. We wanted to square up. We wanted to be a yard by one outside the guy we motioned to make them communicate quickly. And guess what? You turn on the film, they squared up. We were one by one. We made them communicate quickly. And those are the things that create winning football. Is you want to know how to get people open, right? You time things up. You create stacks. You create bunches, right? And those guys really bought in to the timing and the splits and the relationship they have to be to other wide receivers, right? And combine that with, then when their number was called, they made a play. Because Keyshawn Helton's play on the sideline, right? That's no special scheme. That's Keyshawn and Jordan making a play. That's no line protecting them, right? That was not drawn up on Wednesday, third down day. That was our guys going out there and making a play on a critical 3rd and 13 or 3rd and 12, whatever that situation was. And that group, I've said it way back when, that group has battled and battled and battled. And the results haven't been what they've wanted to. And I think this was the first week that, they kind of reaped what they've been sowing. And it's awesome to see.
Kenny, was this Jordan's best game in terms of making the correct reads, the right decisions? And then it seemed to me the game, it seems to be slowing down a little bit for him in terms of that. Is that maybe because he's missed so much time with injuries and stuff that now he's had more ability to go out there? He's able to, like I said, the game slows down for him that.
Yeah, I think this was his best game. Y'all know I'm a big believer in Jordan Travis, but I'm also not going to say he's anywhere close to where I think he can be. I think the kid can get dramatically better. I think he needs to start games better. Needs to slow his mind down a little bit because when he gets in a rhythm, he can be special. It kind of goes back to the question earlier in terms of he hasn't played much football. He hasn't played much live football. So every game, he better get better. And that doesn't mean every game is going to be, next week it's 13 for 13. That's not realistic, right? It just means every game you should see something you didn't see in the prior week. You should see a little bit more of a calmness. You should see a little bit, this last week 2 weeks ago, we had the clock running down and there was some panic with emotion. This week, at the end of the game, he wound the clock down to 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 1 second, and there was pure poise. And those are the things that when you get reps and you play live football that show if you can play the position at a high level. And like I said earlier, he doesn't get enough credit for his intelligence in getting us into the right plays, getting us into protections. And I'm lucky to be able to coach him. I'm excited to see how much better he can get because there's a lot of room for growth.